At one level, education become one of the most influential spheres in people's lives. All students deserve opportunities to learn and grow. Children who are not getting the education they need are not learning. A children cannot learn without the right environment. Education is the basic human right, but many children still do not have the opportunity to learn, especially if they live in a poverty or face many barriers to accessing an education. It is an social obligation to give the essential opportunity of schooling to all children. Youth in rural regions do not have the chance to develop their skills in different areas, especially children from low socioeconomic rural regions. Most have no access to enrichment activities and also lack structure at home. More than 600 million school-aged children are not receiving the fundamental values, skills, and knowledge they deserve. Children struggled academically are more prevalent in Asia and the Pacific. According to the Economic Research Service at USDA, 17.3% of children in metro schools and 22.4% of students in non-metro schools were living in poverty in 2018. Most of the problems in the Philippine education system from a lack of funding in rural districts may also mean that many students might not have regular access to technology and would allow them to participate generally more engaging learning activities. More so, the availability of modern energy services such as electricity, heated water, and liquid cooking fuel had affected rural life as much as it is in urban areas. In poor developing countries, educational inequality is very common. According to some observers, the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports in the Philippines is one of the most corrupt government entities in the country. It has a budget equal to 12% of spending but riddled with a graft from buying textbooks and other supplies, grease money, and bribes for just about any sort of movement with the bureaucracy. In our country, the Philippines, funds for people in poverty do not always reach them as many government officials are corrupt and instead keep the money for themselves. This has occurred frequently in the past and those who are poor are still recovering from it today. People can be helped to become more successful in their lives by receiving the aid and knowledge they required. Through education, children will be able to learn more about the world and how they can enhance it by helping those who lack education. Quality education promotes cognitive growth and fosters physiological being. According to Patatas 2022, the educational system in rural areas is lacking in many areas. Many of these schools are constructed as makeshift huts without proper doors, windows, or walls. Undereducated people are negatively impacted by a lack of education. People who lack education have trouble getting ahead in life, has more worse health, and are poorer than the well-educated. 264.3 million school-aged children, adolescents, and youth worldwide do not attend school. Although public education is free, there are still many obstacles standing in the way for students in rural areas of the Philippines, and we will break those barriers. We ask for help. We are breaking those barriers to education by helping. Education advocates monitor educational policies to make sure that all children have access to opportunities so that they can learn as well as possible. We are working to guarantee universal access to quality education, supporting children living in areas of conflict and humanitarian crisis to return to the school because we believe that access to quality education is a fundamental human right. If you want to help and want to make the change, join a voluntary program. Save the Children's Education Policy Advocacy supports robust basic education funding for every child, and we integrate education efforts into our humanitarian response. Fight for the right of the education.